So good afternoon and welcome to the live session organized by the Parti, International Sales Agent, to meet the director Aurel on the occasion of his first film, Josep, the only French animated film in the official Cannes selection 2020. Aurel is a press cartoonist in publication as important as Le Monde, and Josep is inspired by the life of another cartoonist, Josep Bartoli, who lived and testified through his drawing an important and rather unknown episode of recent history. The Retirada in 1939 saw the exodus of 500,000 Spanish people when Franco took power. But Aurel is the best person to talk about it. Please note that Aurel will let you benefit from his creation of live drawing during this session on Aurel's shoulder, to follow the name of the session. Of course, Aurel, if you want to make specific comments related to your live drawing, feel free to do it. So first question, Aurel, how did your interest in Josep Bartoli and the idea to make him the subject of your first movie come true?
Good afternoon. I discovered the drawings of Josep Bartoli thanks to a book published by Actes Sud in France, written by his nephew Georges Bartoli. And it's a book about the Spanish exile from Spain after the Spanish Civil War through Pyrenees mountain and to France. And people, Republican people, were welcome in the camps in south of France. And I was in a book fair and I discovered this book. The first thing I saw was the cover of this book, red cover with a very powerful drawing from Josep Bartoli. It's an international soldier with just one leg, and it's an amazing drawing. And the whole book is illustrated by the cartoons of Josep Bartoli, and it was my first very strong link and discovery of Bartoli's work.
And you already had an interest in Spanish history and this?
Yeah, I discovered the Spanish War as a teenager thanks to Land and Freedom by Ken Loach. And I had a loving of Spanish country of Spain since approximately this period too, and through the story and the cartoons of Josep Bartoli, it was like all those elements I loved. In just one topic in the story of Josep Bartoli.
So it was about 10 years ago, and you already had in mind to make an animated feature, or it was just a project for a short movie or a book? Or
at this time, I was making my first and my only short animating movie called Octobre Noir, and it's about another part of French history. And it was the end of the production of this short animation, and I directly said to the producer of the short animation, I would like to go on with another project of animation and about Spanish War, and perhaps the story of Josep Bartoli could be interesting, but at this time I didn't know which part of Bartoli's life and even which part of the Spanish history and French history I will talk about. Mm-hmm. It was I wanted to talk about this, but I didn't know how.
Okay, so the film deals with many topics beyond that of the Exodus and the importance of drawing as a testimony, because Joseph Bartoli himself is a cartoonist. And this is completed by times and years happening after the French period, let's say the French camp period, and we discover say very surprising and very active life of Bartoli. So this has been done with a scriptwriter, Jean-Louis Milesi, and it seems this screenplay is full of invention in terms of trying to find a way to bring the people to the story, and how this cooperation. Jean-Louis Milesi, for the one who don't know him, is a very famous French scriptwriter. He has been involved in most of the Robert Guédiguian features. So, how did your cooperation go with Jean-Louis?
Now it's not just a scriptwriter; it's a friend. So it's a strong relation with him since almost 8 years, perhaps. Yes, as I told you, when I met the drawings of Josep Bartoli, I'm a graphic journalist. So when I meet a topic like this, a theme like this, I try to know more about it, and by I had some friends in the south of France who knew very well Georges Bartoli, his nephew. So I tried to speak with Georges Bartoli, and after discovering the work and the drawings of Josep, I discovered his life, and his life is also amazing. It's from Barcelona, in the very poor neighborhoods of Barcelona in 1910 or 11, we don't know when he born, to New York, and in 1995 when he died. But he crossed all the century, passing by Spain, of course, then France, then Mexico, where he used to be the lover of Frida Kahlo, then New York, where he spent 50 years of his life. So it's an amazing life, and I was a little bit lost in all that stuff. And thanks to Jean-Louis Milesi, we call Jean-Louis Milesi because of his work with Guédiguian. The producer asked me if it could be a universe I would like to work on, the universe of Guédiguian. And I didn't know at this time that Guédiguian had a scriptwriter who was working with him. But we asked Jean-Louis Milesi if he was interested in working in such a project, in such a history, and he directly answered yes. So I let him all the material and saying, I don't know how to count this story, please help me. And he had a sentence and some words that I will never forget. He said, I'm not a drawing artist. I can't think like a drawing artist. I'm not Spanish. I can't think like a Spanish people. But he was an exile migrant,
because he was from Italy. But Exodus himself, or family.
He's not Spanish, but he told me that he could enter in the mind of a French policeman in those camps in south of France. So he decided to write a story through the point of view, or from the point of view of a policeman helping and will be a friend of Joseph. This is the very fictional part of the history, but based on true story, because we know that Joseph was helped by policemen and physicians to escape and to get some paper and to get some pencils and a lot of things like that. So we don't know nothing about those people, but we know that they were existing. So Jean-Louis decided to take this part of the history, the most unknown part, and to enter the artist's life thanks to this point of view.
So very interesting artistic development from Jean-Louis. I think you find the key to open the door for the story.
Exactly.
So I would like to come back to the place of drawing, because your background is obviously drawing. Its importance, the role of the press cartoonist, its universal character as well, and how drawing can contribute to the evocation of historical facts, but also express strong feelings, emotion, situation, and why is Joseph Bartoli a good example of for this role and impact of drawing?
Well,
because he was himself a drawing artist.
Yes, and cartoonist for Catalan press. My point is that in the camps, because it's the historical part of the movie, it's based on it takes place on the French camps in the south of France, which are totally unknown and forgotten in the official history. He drew a lot there, and it's the main part of the drawing in the book that I was talking about are from the camps, and it's very important testimony of this period. But my point is that Joseph was not making that for testifying.
He was doing that for himself. I mean, to survive. It was a way for him to go through the years in the camps.
He and I are journalists, so it's very natural for us to count stories, real stories, and so he was very habitué, used to draw and count everything he was seeing. But we also are artists, and drawing for us is like breathing. So I think that it was totally vital for him to draw. And this is the other part of the script of Joseph, and we had a story through the point of view of this policeman, but I was able to feel what a drawing artist could feel in such a situation. Of course, I've never been in a concentration camp, and I hope to never get there, but I can imagine what I would do, or what kind of drawings I will do there.
Because there was no purpose of publication for the drawing he was making in the camp. He didn't know what to do when he was doing that for himself first.
Of course. And that's why I think it was not a testimony thought as a testimony. He was doing it for himself and to save his life, his mental life, his own life. Because we don't speak about that in the movie, but we have to realize that it was very hard to get paper, to get pencils, to draw without being seen by the policemen, and to keep the drawing, because it was the camps were on a beach near the sea, with wind, with rain, with a lot of things paper don't like at all. So it's a miracle to get some original drawing from him, escaped from and saved from the conditions of the camp.
Without going too much into technical questions, because this is not the purpose of this session, but the film is characterized by a particular treatment of the image, on what you call drawn film or film of drawings, rather than animated. This is a particular concept, and this required a particular work with a partner studio and animators, and a need to be innovative and different from an usual and, let's say, animated film. As described by Variety, the movie has a very unique aesthetic. So can you tell us more about the way you did use existing tools and techniques as well as the new ones to end up with the result we now see on screen?
It's the moment where I'm supposed to make some drawings.
Yes, you're supposed to start drawing, yeah.
The first thing is that since the beginning, I wanted to make a movie for the artistic part that could be an homage, I can say homage, to Bartoli's a tribute to Bartoli's work. And Bartoli's work was very from black lines at the beginning, because he was I'm drawing the Josep head. He was a cartoonist, and for cartoonists you have to make some drawings very simple. You have to make it fast, and it has to be read very fast too. So even on newspaper, at this time there was no color. So it's very black and white drawing. So Josep started with black and white drawings with a simple line, very efficient line, very, very strong line. And then at the end of his life, he used to be more painting artist. Almost, how can I say it? Abstract, of abstract paintings. So there was a way, an artistic way of Bartoli I would like to develop in parallel in my own movie. So we started the movie with the exile for a few minutes, and then we are in the camps. So in the camps, we just said he didn't have a lot of tools, just pencils. And when he finished by publishing his drawings of the camps in Mexico, it was in black and white too. There was no color. And Josep began to put color in his drawings in Mexico.
Thanks to Frida Kahlo?
Thanks to Frida Kahlo, this is my thesis. Yeah. But we don't know.
We don't know.
So the main part of the movie in the French camps had to be very similar to the journalistic part of Joseph drawing, and because after that in New York also he did a lot of graphic reports. But I try to express the artistic part of the drawing in the camps as a graphic report and as a newspaper drawings. So very few colors and just no black and white, but very few colors, and mainly the line.
But was it easy for when dealing with studios, because you have 5 or 6 studios involved in the project, and that means animators too, to explain the specific way you wanted to use the impact of drawing instead of going with a lot of animated sequences, because you seem to use very much the impact, the initial and original impact of one drawing. The drawing by itself is supposed to tell a story and maybe to tell a movement as well.
Yeah, I did not answer about the non-animation part of the mise en scène, but it was I decided to, if I go back to the precedent question, I will try in like a tribute to our art of newspaper cartoons, to resume animation, a movement, an action in just one drawing, as we have to do on a paper, and saying all trying to explain to all the studios, we will quit or get off all the movements of every scene, and just keeping one drawing who can explain all the movement, just one drawing. And
this is a new way, I mean, because it's the impact of one image is somehow telling a story without really moving.
Yes,
because
there is movement, there is life, but there is no animation image by image. There is in the movie, but in this part of the camps, mainly there is no animation image per image, because there are several reasons. The first one is that to make a tribute to our art of drawings in just on paper, but the other reason is that we are in a flashback movie and in the memory of a very old man, which is the policeman. So for me, a memory of such an old man, dying old man, cannot be a very fluent memory. So it makes sense to have some a mise en scène with some snapshots of the old events, and not something very fluent.
That makes it the unique aesthetic mentioned in Variety articles the other day.
So.
Because I think it's something very unusual in a sense. On the subject of exodus and forced departure to other countries, internment camps, imprisonment and absence of freedom, we can see how burningly topical this subject still is in today's world. This is not related to your work as a press cartoonist. It gives a form of obvious topicality to the film. This resonance with current events in the world seems important to you, and is also in direct link with your work as a press cartoonist, because you're working with daily and weekly magazines, so you're involved in what the news are.
Yeah.
And the news of the world.
There is two parts for that. The first one is that I'm not a militant. I'm a journalist, so I'm not involved in actions to defend migrants and some people like that. But to me it's very important to help those people, and
it's part of your life too.
It's part of my life to put light on those problems. It's not problems by itself, but it results as a problem for the people dying in the borders and everything, or in the Mediterranean Sea. So as a journalist, I can choose my subject. So this is how a journalist can be a part of militant. And so I have to tell those stories thanks to real stories. It's the job of a journalist. And this historical, what I hope with this movie is that talking about this very unknown part of our history, to show how things didn't have changed a lot in 80 years or more. And I think it could ring a bell to the people in the movie theater, saying, "Whoa, France did that 80 years ago," and perhaps the bell will say, "Oh, perhaps if I just look on what we are doing now, it's the same. Nothing has changed." Mm-hmm. And it's my way of putting light of something very actual, but actuality is always coming to us and to our theme of the movies, since every month, every week there is news about that.
Your work as a press cartoonist is rather a solitary exercise. How did this transition to a collective work such as an animated feature film? And was it difficult for you to work with a lot of people or many studios, many animators, instead of being you and your blank page,
me and my cat,
your design?
It was very pleasant to work with other people, but it was really hard for me to. I can do a drawing with color or no color quite simply, and it won't cost a lot, and it's just my time, and I don't have to explain to nobody what I want to do. And
it's not the case of making
a movie. No, and so I decided to not to impose something, but I was telling all the team managers of the studios the same little story example. So we're a rock band. I have some songs in my sketchbook, in my notebook. I know I would like it to sound, but I don't know how to play drums, how to play bass guitar, how to play even guitar. So please help me doing your job and doing what you know. And I decided to create the artistical part of the movie thanks to this manner to work with the teams. And for that I understood it's also very new.
Yeah.
It was very new for them because they was very used to work with director from animation who know every part of animation, every step of animation, and who know how to do every step and every part, and backgrounds, animations, layout. I didn't know. So I asked them to propose me things, and then we talked about what they proposed, and
so somehow it was an advantage to have not a strong experience in the field of animation, because you became more a source of inspiration for them and not really directing them in the sense they didn't ask them to repeat something they've done before. They had to approach the project in a different way.
It was not every time very simple, because some of them because they were not used to work in this way. But my first greetings were from the teams when they had stopped to work because they finished the work on the movie. I received some emails saying thanks a lot for giving us so many liberty in our work, and to me it's very important to work with free people.
Yeah, so it was a unique situation, I suppose, for some of them. For the film, you benefited from the active participation and often motivated by personal stories of actors such as Sergi Lopez, Bruno Solo, Gérard Hernandez, and others. How did this collaboration go, and how was their specific involvement in the movie, in the story?
The involvement is particular for each actor, but in general.
But you ring a bell. I mean, when you came to them and telling them the story,
different ones.
Yeah,
for each of them. But in general, there were all of them very involved in the story before the movie. The story we were counting, and when I asked Gérard Hernandez, for example, he was born in 34, I think, in Valladolid. So I didn't know that, but it was totally part of his own history. Bruno Solo, with the voice of the young policeman, his grandfather was an international brigadist soldier. So every actor got personal reason, but I didn't know those reasons.
But this probably did help you a lot. I mean, I noticed some interviews from Sergi Lopez mentioning how happy he is to be involved in such a project, because that he lives in Barcelona, he knows Catalonia, and I think he knows the story very well.
I think it's different for Spanish or Catalonian actors because it's their own history, not just story but history. And to me, Sergi Lopez, the important with Sergi Lopez was his three cultures: Spanish, Catalan, or Catalan Spanish. He will prefer Catalan first, then Spanish, and French. And to me, it was very important to understand Josep and to understand his migrant life, because Josep was a Catalan, very national Catalan, but he escaped from Catalonia at the age of 29 and come back in 75 after Franco's death. But he was 65. Yeah. So Josep is a migrant, and he is a Catalan living in other part of the world. So more of the qualities of an actor of Sergi Bartoli, and quite the qualities.
Sergi Lopez.
Sergi
Bartoli.
Pardon. Sergi Lopez. It was interesting me these well known of different cultures he had.
The music is also a very important element in your movie, and the one composed, played, and sung by Silvia Perez Cruz, a well-known Spanish or Catalan artist, who also gives her voice to the character of Frida Kahlo. As you said, an important also character in the movie, is remarkable. the music she composed by her emotion and sensitivity, and she seems particularly concerned and involved in the film. I mean, what about your cooperation or collaboration in that field?
Yes, and more than Frida Kahlo's voice, she's also the voice of another prisoner or Spanish Republican in the camp called Bertilia. The idea was to the instrument of Sylvia is voice, of course, and the idea was to during the movie, Josep is looking for his girlfriend, his lost girlfriend. So the idea was to put a voice accompagné. How do you say accompagné? To go with Josep all the time, and that's why Sylvia's voice is accompanying Josep on the music of the film. In every woman, he got an offer with friendship or love affair, and so it was very. The involvement of Sylvia was huge because we.
She has been acting as an actress before, or was it the first time?
Yeah. Once in live action movie, Catalan live action movie.
But not in a similar way, like being so involved as she was.
She composed the music
also.
of this movie also, but. In my movie, the music is really the third dimension of the movie. So it was very, very important, and it's on all along the movie there is his voice and his music, and because of the non-animated part of the movie, we had to put a lot in sound, voices, and most of all on music. And we have an artistic relation with Sylvia, very fluent and very. We can understand each other even without talking. It's very simple for us.
Maybe you should start another drawing because we are coming to an end soon. Okay. So another drawing, please. So this is your first film, and happened to be the only animated French film in the official Cannes selection this year in 2020. So I suppose that your satisfaction must be great for a project that took so long, like 10 years, I think. It was a rough time of between coming with an idea and having the movie ready to be on screen. So you're probably now impatient to see it soon on French screens in September, as well as on international theaters and festivals. So are you impatient and happy, or impatient or happy, or both?
Both. Very impatient and very happy. No, it was incredible to get this label from Cannes, and I'm very happy to know that this way of thinking cinema, which is quite new because it's putting drawing on the screen, and it's putting drawing in the screen thanks to media who can put life in your drawings, and it's a frustration for a drawing artist like us, like Josep and me, to have some drawings. We can make some movement.
But you have the frustration.
But we can hear nothing from the paper, we can't have no music, no voices, no sounds. So,
but you know, however, that strong drawing will speak by itself and will bring to the people watching it sound, action.
Yeah, but for a music lover like me, it's very frustrating to not to put music in my drawing. So that's why it's another. I think that this live is called on Aurel's shoulder.
Aurel's shoulders. Yeah.
But I explained my point of view for this movie, like to be on the drawing artist's shoulder. The screen is the paper, and what spectator will see is what there is on the paper with life on it, but connected with the drawing artist's brain. So hearing the voices, seeing the drawing, the lines living, and with everything a drawing artist can imagine. Putting drawing his cartoon on paper.
And do you imagine having Joseph Bartoli on your shoulder as well?
I don't know.
No. You hope so?
I hope so.
Okay. So, Aurel, do you want to add something for this finishing your second live drawing?
No, I will just say something by my drawing. It's just
without sound, without music.
Without sound, without music. I'm just trying to
with
make
the efficiency of drawing.
Yeah, and to put movement in my drawing.
So I think this session is coming to an end. So I still have to thank the party for organizing and taking the initiative of this live session, and of course Aurel for providing useful information about this very original and particular film that is Josep. So all of you watching us, enjoy the Cannes market if you are involved in Cannes Festival, and we hope this session on Aurel's shoulder was useful to help discovering Josep movie and his director Aurel, and I will add that if you want to know more, please contact the sales agent of the party. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean-Paul.